There's a voice inside you that's been whispering for years. A voice that knows who you really are, what you're really capable of, and what kind of life you were meant to live. But somewhere along the way, that voice got buried under noise, the noise of doubt, the noise of fear, the noise of people telling you what's realistic, what's possible, and what you should settle for. You stopped listening to that voice and you started listening to the world. And ever since, you've been feeling that quiet ache inside, that frustration that comes from knowing deep down that you were built for more, but you've been living beneath your own potential. See, every one of us has two versions of ourselves, the one we show the world and the one we know we could become. The one that wakes up tired, distracted, just trying to survive the day, and the one that's buried beneath all that noise, waiting to be unleashed. The difference between those two versions isn't luck, isn't talent, it isn't opportunity, it's mindset. It's the psychology of how you see yourself, how you talk to yourself, and how you respond to the world when things get heavy. That's what this is about, rewiring that inner system that controls everything. Your decisions, your emotions, your drive, your limits. Because you'll never change your life until you change the way you think. You can hustle, you can grind, you can say all the right motivational quotes, but if your mind is still chained to old beliefs, if you still see yourself as average, if you still carry the weight of who you used to be, you'll sabotage yourself every single time. You'll build something and then tear it down with your own doubt. You'll start strong but never finish. You'll want it badly but never believe you deserve it. That's why understanding your psyche, the raw, unfiltered mechanics of your mind is everything. Because once you learn how your mind works, you can stop being controlled by it and start controlling it. And let me tell you something. The most dangerous person in the world is the one who knows themselves. The one who understands their triggers, their fears, their strengths, and their patterns, because that person can no longer be manipulated, distracted, or stopped. That person becomes unstoppable because they've learned to master the battlefield that destroys most people, the one inside their own head. This is where transformation starts. Not in the gym, not in your bank account, not in your social circle, but in your mind. So if you're watching this, don't just listen, feel it. Let it hit you where you've been hiding from yourself. This isn't about motivation. This is about awakening the version of you that's been asleep. Because once you learn how to command your mind, your whole life bends in your direction. And that's what we're about to do. Break the code inside you and remind you of who the hell you really are. Stop blaming the world. Take full ownership of your life. That's where everything starts. That's the moment the entire game changes. Because as long as you're pointing fingers, as long as you're saying, it's because of them, it's because of my past, it's because of what they did to me, you're handing your power away. You're saying, here, take control of my life. I'll just sit here and complain. The truth is, life doesn't care about your excuses. Life doesn't slow down because you were hurt, because you were broke, because someone didn't show up for you. Life keeps moving, and if you want to move with it, you've got to take responsibility, not just for the good thing, but for the failures, the mistakes, the pain, and the broken pieces too. When you stop blaming, you reclaim control. That's what people don't understand. Accountability is not punishment, it's freedom. The moment you say, this is my life, and everything that happens in it is my responsibility, you take the driver's seat. You stop being a passenger in your own story. Because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to feel sorry enough for you to change your situation. The world rewards results, not reasons. And as long as you keep giving reasons, you'll keep staying stuck where you are. The universe doesn't respond to pity, it responds to persistence. You can't grow from something you refuse to own. When you say, it's not my fault, you're saying, I don't have the power to change it. And if you believe that, you'll live your whole life in a cage built by your own excuses. But when you say, you know what, it is my fault, I didn't study hard enough, I didn't stay consistent, I didn't show up when I should have, now you've taken back the power. Because if you caused it, you can fix it. If you made the mistake, you can make the correction. That's the beauty of ownership. It puts your life back in your hands. Most people want change without accountability. They want success without the sting of truth. But you can't have both. Growth begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. You've got to face those hard truths that nobody else will tell you. You've got to look in the mirror and admit where you've been slacking, where you've been lazy, where you've been waiting for someone else to do the work that only you can do. The mirror doesn't lie. It reflects the truth you've been running from. And that truth will set you free the second you stop hiding from it. You owe it to yourself to stop blaming your circumstances. You owe it to yourself to stop blaming your parents, your job, your background, your city, your friends, your relationship, your teacher, your boss, your past. Because every time you blame something external, you're giving it control over your destiny. You can't rise while something else is pulling the strings. You've got to cut the cords. You've got to say, I'm done being a victim. You might not have chosen the pain, but you get to choose what you do with it. You get to choose how you respond, how you rise, how you rebuild. Taking ownership doesn't mean you ignore the pain. It means you use it. It means you take everything that's ever tried to break you and you build with it. Every setback, every disappointment, every betrayal becomes the bricks for your foundation. Because when you own your story, even the ugly parts, you become unstoppable. Nothing anyone says can shake you because you already faced the worst of yourself. You already accepted your part in it, and now you're free to grow. There's a power that comes with saying, it's on me. Because once you accept that it's on you, no one else can hold you back. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop waiting for validation. You stop waiting for opportunity. You create it. You start waking up with purpose, with clarity, with fire. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I do about it? And that shift changes everything. That's when you start seeing progress. That's when you start seeing results. Ownership makes you dangerous in the best way because a person who blames nothing and no one can't be stopped. When things go wrong, they don't cry, they adapt. When plans fall apart, they don't quit, they rebuild. When people betray them, they don't fall apart. They get stronger because they know one thing. As long as they're breathing, they still have control. They still have choice. They still have the power to act. That's what separates those who rise from those who remain stuck. You've got to stop saying, it's not fair. Oh, life isn't supposed to be fair. It's supposed to be a test. It's supposed to push you, stretch you, break you enough to see what you're made of. Every time you face something hard, you're being asked a question. Do you want it bad enough to own it? Because the people who win in life, they don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They build through the storm. They don't ask for guarantees. They ask for grind. They don't wait for someone to believe in them. They believe in themselves enough to take the first step. So you've got to take that pain, that disappointment, that frustration, and turn it into accountability. Say, this is my life, and I refuse to waste it. You owe yourself the truth. You owe yourself the discipline. You owe yourself the effort that matches your dreams. Stop acting like life owes you something it doesn't. You owe yourself the work, the consistency, the patience, the focus. You owe yourself the best version of you that you keep imagining but never becoming. If you want to see change, stop waiting for people to do right by you. Stop waiting for apologies, for recognition, for opportunities. The world doesn't owe you understanding. It owes you nothing. You owe it to yourself to get up every day and push forward, even when it hurts, even when nobody claps, even when you fail over and over again. You owe yourself a life that matches your potential, and that means no more excuses, no more blame, no more waiting. When you take ownership, you unlock something inside that can't be shaken. You start trusting yourself again. You start realizing that every setback was preparing you. You start seeing that the power was never out there. It was always in you. You just had to stop giving it away. And once you stop blaming, once you stop making excuses, once you take control, there's nothing life can throw at you that you can't overcome. Because the strongest person in the room isn't the one who's never been broken. It's the one who took every break, every loss, every scar, and said, I still win. So today, stop blaming the world. Stop waiting for someone to hand you your future. It's yours. It's been yours since day one. Take it back to own it. Live it. Because no matter where you came from, no matter what they did, no matter how unfair life has been, you still owe you everything. Stop breaking promises to yourself. That's the real reason most people never make it. It's not that the dream is too far. It's not that the world is unfair. It's not even that they don't have what it takes. It's because every time they say they'll do something, they don't follow through. And every time they quit on themselves, they chip away a little piece of their belief, their confidence, their fire. You keep saying that tomorrow I'll start, but tomorrow comes and you make another excuse. You say this week I'll be consistent, but the week ends and you're right back where you started. You keep lying to yourself and then you wonder why you don't trust yourself anymore. You wonder why you can't stay motivated because your mind doesn't believe your words anymore. You said I'm going to change too many times without meaning it. You've promised yourself progress and delivered nothing but procrastination. When you break promises to yourself, you destroy your own credibility. Imagine if someone told you every day they'd show up for you, but they never did. Would you trust them? No. So why should your mind trust you when you keep doing the same thing? You can't expect your spirit to move mountains when your word means nothing to you. Your confidence doesn't grow through hype or motivation. It grows through keeping promises. Every time you say you'll wake up early and you do it, that's one brick in the wall of self-respect. Every time you say you'll grind after work and you actually do, that's another brick. But every time you hit snooze, every time you say I'll do it later, you tear that wall down piece by piece until there's nothing left standing. You want to know why so many people are miserable, stuck and lost. It's because they're at war with themselves. Their dreams and their actions don't match. Their words and their habits are enemies. They say, I want success, but their behavior screams comfort. They say, I want to change my life. But the moment it gets hard, they run back to easy. You can't live a powerful life when your decisions keep betraying your vision. You can't expect your soul to roar when your daily habits whisper weakness. You either start honoring your word or you'll keep living in the shadows of your own potential. You gotta understand, discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect. It's saying, I care about my future too much to lie to myself today. When you say you'll do something and you actually do it, even when it's painful, you start trusting yourself again. That trust becomes momentum. That momentum becomes belief, and that belief becomes unstoppable power. You'll start to feel it. That energy, that pride, that fire when you do what you said you would do. Because deep down, you know you're becoming the kind of person you can count on. The problem is you've been keeping promises to everyone but yourself. You'll show up for your job. You'll show up for your friends. You'll show up for people who wouldn't even do the same for you. But when it's time to show up for you, suddenly you're tired, busy, or distracted. That's not commitment. That's self-neglect. The world doesn't owe you loyalty until you show loyalty to yourself. Stop giving your energy to everyone else and leaving your dreams starving for attention. You say you're waiting for the right time. No, you're waiting to feel like it. And that's the difference between the successful and the stuck. Successful people act even when they don't feel like it. They keep promises when it's inconvenient, when it's boring, when nobody's watching, because they understand that greatness isn't built in moments of excitement. It's built in moments of discipline. Every time you follow through, you build your identity. You're proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who finishes what they start. That's where confidence is born. You don't need someone to tell you you're capable. You'll know you are because your actions will prove it. You won't need motivation when you got momentum. You won't need external validation when you got internal proof. You'll wake up and trust yourself because you've earned that trust through your consistency. You've got to be ruthless about it. No more halfway promises. No more I'll start on Monday. No more after the holidays. After this situation, after I feel better. You either do it now or you keep living in the same cycle. Your future doesn't care about your excuses. It only responds to execution. Every time you break your word, you delay your breakthrough. You gotta stop lying to yourself and call yourself out. Look in the mirror and say, I've been lazy. I've been soft. I've been talking more than I've been doing. That's not self-hate, that's self-awareness. And once you're aware, you can change. Start small. Keep one promise today, just one. Wake up when you said you would. Go to the gym, even if it's only for 20 minutes. Do one thing that you said you do, not for anyone else, but for you. Because that's how you rebuild self-trust. One small win at a time. It's not about perfection, it's about proof. Every day you keep your word, you're proving to yourself that you can rely on you. That's power. That's how you silence self-doubt. That's how you build mental toughness. You can't become great if you don't trust yourself. You can't lead, create, or conquer if your own mind doesn't believe you. So stop saying, I'm going to change. Start proving it. Stop talking about the life you want. Start working for it. Stop making promises with your mouth that your habits can't carry. Because your dream doesn't need another speech. It needs execution. It needs execution. This is your wake-up call. The world won't wait for you to get consistent. Your opportunity, your potential, your time is all passing while you're busy making excuses. You keep saying you're not ready, but you've been ready. You're just scared of what will happen when you stop hiding behind empty promises and finally face yourself. You're scared of accountability because it'll show you who you really are. But that's the only way to grow. You gotta face that version of you that keeps quitting, that keeps saying later, that keeps pretending that progress will come without pain, and you gotta kill it. So from this day forward, decide that your word means something. When you say you're going to do it, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, right now. Because the more you keep promises to yourself, the more unstoppable you become. You'll walk different. You'll talk different. You'll look at challenges and smile because you know who you are. You'll know that no matter what happens, you can trust yourself to finish. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers talk about the life they want. Doers build it one kept promise at a time. So stop breaking promises to yourself. Stop saying you'll do it and not showing up. Stop talking about change. Be the change. Because when you finally start keeping your word, you'll realize something powerful. You didn't need more time. You didn't need more motivation. You didn't need more support. You just needed to stop letting yourself down. You just needed to become someone you could trust. And when that happens, nothing in this world can stop you. Stop waiting for permission. That's the trap that keeps most people from ever tasting greatness. You've been sitting on dreams, goals, and visions that could change your life, but you're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to go for it. You're waiting for a sign, waiting for support, waiting for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself. But let me tell you something. Nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, it's your time now. Life doesn't hand out permission slips for success. If you want it, you've gotta claim it. If you wanna rise, you've gotta move before anyone claps for it. And too many people are stuck because they've made their growth conditional on other people's approval. You want to start a business, but you're afraid of what your family will say. You want to chase your dream, but you're worried about what your friends will think. You want to change your life, but you're scared of being judged. So you sit there, shrinking yourself into silence, convincing yourself that now's not the right time. But deep down, you know the truth. You're waiting for validation. You're waiting for someone to say, yes, you're good enough. But hear this. Nobody has the authority to define your potential but you. The moment you realize that, you become unstoppable. Permission is an illusion. You don't need it to start. You don't need it to be great. You don't need it to fail, learn, and rise again. The people you're waiting on to approve you, they're too busy fighting their own battles. And the truth is, many of them don't even believe in themselves. So how could they ever believe in you? Stop giving people that much power over your life. You were not born to fit into their expectations. You were born to break through your own limitations. You keep saying, I don't want to disappoint them. But what about disappointing yourself? What about the version of you that's been begging for a chance to finally live, to finally breathe, to finally be free from everyone else's opinion? The greatest power you'll ever discover is when you stop asking and start acting. The day you stop seeking permission is the day you step into real power. Because now you're not waiting, you're creating. You're not begging, you're becoming. You stop walking around like you owe people explanations for wanting more. You stop apologizing for having ambition. You stop hiding your light because others are uncomfortable in the dark. You stop living by the script they gave you and you start writing your own. Think about it. How many dreams have died because someone was too afraid to be misunderstood? How many lives never took off because people cared more about opinion than purpose? Every time you hold back, every time you say it maybe next time, every time you silence your own calling, you bury your destiny a little deeper. You are the only one who can give yourself permission to be everything you were meant to be. Nobody else can see your vision the way you can. Nobody else can feel that fire burning in your chest. Nobody else can hear that voice inside that keeps whispering, there's more. That voice isn't random. It's a reminder that your soul already knows what you're capable of. When you wait for permission, you're really saying, I don't trust myself. You're saying, I need someone to tell me who I am. And that's why so many people live their entire lives half awake, because they never trusted their own instinct enough to move without confirmation. You've got to break that. You've got to stop outsourcing your confidence. You've got to stop letting the world's opinion decide how far you go. You've got to start walking like your dream belongs to you, because it does. You're not going to be ready. You're not going to have it all figured out. You're not going to feel 100% confident, and that's fine. Start anyway. Move anyway. Speak anyway. Because waiting for perfect conditions is the fastest way to die with regret. The greatest leaders, the greatest creators, the greatest minds, they all moved before they were ready. They all faced rejection, ridicule, and doubt, but they did it anyway. They didn't wait for applause. They worked in silence until the world had no choice but to notice. You keep saying, what if I fail? But what if you succeed beyond anything you've ever imagined? What if the very thing you're afraid to start becomes the thing that changes everything? The fear you're feeling isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign you're going in the right direction. Fear only shows up when something matters. You've got to stop treating it like a wall and start seeing it as a doorway. Because on the other side of fear is freedom. The freedom to live life on your own terms, to stand tall and say, I didn't wait for permission. I built this with my own hand. And don't expect everyone to understand you. They won't. When you start chasing something bigger, you'll make people uncomfortable. You'll make people question themselves. They'll project their own limitations onto you. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing them. But remember, they don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. You've got to learn to walk alone sometime, because elevation requires separation. You can't fly if you're still chained to people who are afraid of heights. When you stop waiting for permission, you stop being controlled by fear. You stop needing to be liked. You stop craving acceptance. You start owning your decisions, your time, your energy. You start walking with purpose. You start making noise not with words, but with results. And suddenly the same people who doubted you start saying, I always believed in you. But by then you'll know you didn't need their belief. You needed your own. This world belongs to those who take it. To those who are bold enough to say, I deserve to be here. To those who move forward when everyone else hesitates. You've got to wake up and realize that your life is your responsibility. Your dream isn't going to build itself. Your gift isn't going to develop itself. You've got to take ownership. You've got to give yourself permission to fail, to learn, to rise, to shine, to win. Because the truth is, nobody can stop you once you decide you don't need their approval anymore. So stop waiting for someone to see your value. Start showing it. Stop waiting for someone to open a door. Start kicking them down. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Start believing so hard that it intimidates doubt itself. You owe it to yourself to see what happens when you finally stop waiting and start working and start working. Because once you stop seeking permission, you step into your true power. And that's when life begins to move for you, not against you. That's when the world starts bending around your will. That's when you become unstoppable. At the end of the day, everything comes back to one truth. You owe not your parents, not your friends, not the system, not the critics. You owe yourself the life you keep dreaming about. You owe yourself the body, the business, the peace, the purpose, the greatness that you keep saying you want. You owe yourself the discipline, the consistency, the sacrifice, the hunger it takes to build it. Because no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to wake you up when you hit snooze. No one's going to carry your dream when you're tired. No one's going to put in the hours, the sweat, the tears. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's your debt to yourself. You can't keep saying you want more while doing the bare minimum. You can't keep blaming life, people, or circumstances when the truth is, the only thing standing between you and your next level is your own decision to show up. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you rob yourself. Every time you choose excuses over effort, you betray your potential. Every time you wait for motivation, instead of building discipline, you delay your destiny. You owe it to yourself to stop playing small, to stop waiting for someone to save you, to stop hiding behind the someday. Someday is a lie. Someday doesn't exist. There's only right now and what you choose to do with it. The moment you truly understand that nobody is coming to rescue you, everything changes. You stop waiting and you start working. You stop complaining and you start creating. You stop wishing and you start building. You start holding yourself accountable for the energy you bring, the habits you live by, and the results you create. Because the truth is, your future doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your work. You've got to earn it, not just want it. You've got to be willing to grind when it's boring, to push when it hurts, to keep moving when no one's watching. And listen, I get it. Life will test you. You'll fail. You'll fall. You'll question yourself, but that's part of it. That's what separates those who make it from those who talk about making it. Winners don't need perfect conditions. They just need a reason. And their reason is always stronger than their pain. You owe it to yourself to become that kind of person. The one who doesn't quit when it's hard, who doesn't fold when it's dark, who doesn't need the world to believe in them because they believe in themselves so fiercely it becomes impossible to ignore. So let this be your wake-up call. No more excuses, no more waiting for perfect timing, no more talking about what you're gonna do. You owe yourself action. You owe yourself consistency. You owe yourself excellence. You owe yourself results. Every single day you wake up, you get one more chance to prove to the world and to yourself that you mean it this time. So go all in. Go with everything you've got. Because if you don't give it your all, you'll always wonder what could have been. And if you do, you'll finally realize that the person you were waiting for was always you. You owe you, so pay up.